Okay, so welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be doing a review on the new Tronsmart Mirtune H1. So yeah, this is the box. Literally has come out today, 8th of October 2024. So yeah, day one review. I've had it for a couple weeks now, actually, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, so I've had some time with it. So yeah, kind of an interesting review. Looking forward to showing you around it, telling you what I think, and letting you know if I recommend picking one up. So yeah, we'll go through a kind of spec sheet first. Unfortunately, it's another one of these which doesn't really stand up by itself. So yeah, spec wise, this thing retails for $24.99. That's dollars. So low 20s in the in England here, which is like about half the price of a JBL Go 4. So yeah, I mean, a clip is about 50 odd, so you're looking easily half the price of a JBL Clip 5. So yeah, let's bear that in mind. Spec wise, it's IPX7 waterproof. So yeah, pretty much. Well, we're not getting any dust, I suppose, but we are getting water. 20 hours of battery life, and it only takes 2.6 hours to charge. 2.6 is quite specific, but yeah, 20 hours of battery life again from something this small. Very, very good. It does have TWS pairing, so yeah, that's true wireless stereo. So if you've got 2 of these, you can play left and right channels properly, which again, for this price, very impressive. It's got a built-in mic as well, so you can talk on the phone, and obviously it will be used as a speakerphone as well, so you can have your phone calls entirely from this speaker. Obviously it still has to be in range of your phone, but the speaker can do all of the actual microphone and speakering. Bluetooth version is 5.3, so nice and new there. I still think that's the most up-to-date one. Wireless range is about 18 meters, so you're kind of in range with what you'd get from something of this size with this Bluetooth version. But yeah, as with all of these things, nowadays the wireless range just isn't too much of a problem, because after 18 meters, you're not going to be able to hear it much anyway, so no real need to go much further than that on a, not day to day anyway. Type-C connector on this, so yeah, hence the only 2-hour charging time. 8 watt of RMS output, so yeah, pretty low, but for the size, again, it's all relative. Frequency response is 70 Hz to 20 kHz, which obviously we can test in a minute when we do the actual sound test. But yeah, not sounding too bad, slightly high on the low end, like obviously high as in it's not, you're not getting much of the low end of the sound. 20 kHz is fine, very much the standard. But yeah, 70 Hz on the other side is quite, in line with the price, shall we say. And it does only weigh 291 grams, so obviously a nice light speaker. We've got the same kind of setup as the Clip 5 here. We've got a nice clip at the top. Quite a nice design, very similar to the JBL's, kind of buttons on the front. Then we've got a power button, Bluetooth indicator, and battery lights that go along here when you turn it on, and just a standard Bluetooth pairing button. Otherwise, there really isn't anything to it. Singular USB port, no aux, anything like that. That's literally it. Basic build, but very rugged. It's very grippy as well, so it can, it's like a kind of rubberized texture on the bottom, so you can put it on a slope and stuff like that, and it will just stay where you leave it. And the clip is quite big as well, so you can clip it onto, bike handlebars, things like that, whatever you want. JBL clip speakers in the past have been like not quite big enough for that kind of stuff, so it's nice that this definitely is. There isn't, immediately there isn't really anything wrong with it. It doesn't feel that cheap either. It feels pretty hefty, so it'll be interesting to see what the sound test brings us. So yeah, I'll play Royalty at 80% volume, and we'll see what we think. Calling me So yeah, sound test. Um, as we can kind of see from the graph over here, I think 70 hertz is pretty accurate on the low end. Maybe it kind of drops off more like 80-ish. We get a kind of steep drop off from here. But realistically, 70 hertz is, I'll give them that. On the higher end though, I think 20 kilohertz is slightly pushing it, seeing as we've basically never really got there. The drop off started more like, what is that, about 17? I do find that is kind of the case most of the time, so I'm not really too worried about that. I think, basically frequency ranges is as they state, basically, for all intents and purposes anyway, across the board. Pretty decent. Again, we're considering, the price. This is 22 quid, this speaker, so we really can't complain too much. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the frequency range on this one. Volume wise, I think it's probably quieter than you'd expect. It's definitely not, it's not going to blow your ears off, but I quite like that in a way because it feels like they focused on the actual sound quality and the bass quality and making this an actually kind of accurate speaker rather than just pumping out as much sound as they possibly could out of this package. Which JBL have definitely done in the past. Because yeah, a Clip 5 is substantially louder than this, and that doesn't necessarily distort, but it is also over double the price. So for this price, they knew they couldn't make it much louder without it start to distort and sound crackly and cheap. So they toned it down a bit, and they let it pump out a nice, frequency and a decent sound clarity without trying to push its limits too far. And I respect them for that. I think a lot of Tronsmart stuff is really, really good. Definitely a good value for money and surprisingly good speakers. Yeah, I mean, for 22 quid with this kind of functionality, with this spec sheet being the newest Bluetooth version, having 20 hours of battery life, waterproof, USB-C charging, decent frequency response, stereo pairing, you're really not going to find that anywhere else. If you're looking for a cheap alternative to the JBL Clip 5, 100% this is it. You're looking at it. So yeah, it's really positive. If you want something, if you want the loudest thing in this market, then this isn't it. But if you want something that worth every penny you spend on it and has very good sound quality for the price, the bass was quite clear as well. Then this really, it hits every spot. So yeah, Tronsmart speakers they're getting so much better over time. I know we kind of, the first review I did on one was the Bang SE, I think, which is an alright speaker, but it did kind of have that, they were trying to make it louder than it should have been. It was slightly distorted at high volumes, but this isn't doing that, and I like that they're moving away from that. So big props to them. Yeah, let me know what you think of it. Will you be picking one up, or will you be going for something else?